of those good people that he's involved with are not going to take a tyrant's crap.
Right. And even if Joe was not selling on eBay, he's still very successful in his community with his brick and mortar store, which again goes back to the jealousy of Charles W. Fitch. Once again, this is what the judge is going to say to Mr. Fitch. You are jealous, and I tell you what, jealous people make stupid mistakes when they start making judgments against successful people, or in general for that matter. We have two jealous individuals here who basically screwed themselves over, and you know what? I think we're going to call it Fitch-Coon screwed. You know, I think that's what we're going to call it. That we got screwballs with loose screw heads. I think that's
they both got kicked off of eBay, and they didn't have any other ways to make income, and they started scamming people on eBay. I'm not saying Doc did, okay? But I do believe, I don't know this for a fact, but in the stuff that I've been looking up, what that information is, that either Doc or Charles Finch makes the XSS scams through their home network, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you something about Mr. Finch. I do know a whole hell of a lot about making a home network if I wanted to, okay?
Right.
Through a virtual VPN, a firewall, which then you can use it to make the XSS page redirect to that eBay page with the IP address of the page, okay, of the page address, and then redirect to that page. And then your page comes up when your page actually pops up on there when people go to that page. And then you get scammed.
Yep.
I mean, is it hard to do? I mean, if you're not technical about how networks work and that kind of stuff, yeah, a normal person like maybe you that doesn't understand programming and networking and and making redirect pages, yeah, they're not going to know that is a scam.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that those two idiot boneheads know how it works, they started using it for news. They started saying, "Hey, there's a fake vehicle up here. We have proof of that, Mr. Finch, with a Corvette that you and Doc put up."
Right.
That is true, and I will stand behind that. I saw it myself.
Yep.
Yep. Ed Coon. So you want to be credible? Then stop making the pages off your network. That I do know. That you know how to do that shit. Okay, I'm old school too. I understand how networks work back in the old day. They're making a website, hosting it yourself because they weren't back in 90s, 88 to the 90s. There wasn't a lot of host companies to host your own websites because they were expensive. So you made your own host server at home.
Mm-hmm.
And you directed people to your own server site, which as long as it keeps up, it acts like any host account, like HostGator, or Bluehost, or whoever. Okay, you can do that at home. There's no law against that. And you get a domain name, and then you put it in.
Right.
Ed Boone is not fooling anybody. He's not fooling me with his bunch of baloney, and neither is Mr. Charles Finch.
Okay.
All I need to do, well, I'm not going to say what I would do with that, but I know the facts of what those two boneheads do.
Mm-hmm. And here's another comment. He says, "Oh, looky, it's the transplanted Yankee reject. Why don't you go back up north where you belong?" Sorry, Mr. Coon. I'm staying in Central Florida until one thing happens for sure. When I get enough money to go back to New York, yeah, great. But let me tell you this much. Until you guys are put in jail, my mission is to make sure that you guys will be exposed
here's
to the
thing.
truth.
I don't want to see anybody go to jail, but what I do want to see is these kind of idiots, especially, I mean, if Charles Finch was out of the picture, Ed Coon wouldn't be around and he would go on his own way, okay?
Yeah, he'd be
I don't
running
think he'd be
scared.
personally attacking us because Finch is using him. And
Exactly.
as soon as Ed Coon, for one, says, "I'm not part of this anymore," like he did with me, is I'm going to blast you all over the internet if you don't do what I say I want you to do.
Yes,
Excuse
Mr. Coon,
me,
that's
sir.
why you're hanging
Go
around.
screw yourself.
Yeah.
very hard in the ass.
But see, here's the thing. We will do the exposure for Mr. Kuhn really simple. If Charles Fitch doesn't want to expose his best buddy, so by
No, he's used.
I
Ed
know.
Kuhn's being used.
Yeah, you're being used, Mr. Kuhn, right in front of it by a fat 450-pound individual who is going to jail. Now, if you want to continue to believe jerks like that, well, then you, my friend, will get the same treatment he's going to get, okay? And it's not going to be from me. It's not going to be from Detweiler. It's going to be from the courts. It's going to be from the law. And
Yeah,
the law,
and if I do happen to have to go to court for any of this junk that Finch is doing to twist the facts around, I'm going to tell the judge, like, right up front and say, hey, listen, number one, yeah, I followed him for a while, found out the truth and what he was doing to Joe, and a couple of people that knew Joe sent me some information that I looked at, and I was like, oh wow, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, and I told Finch, if you're actually the one doing this, you better stop. And then I found out that he was the one doing it because he was on the news for it.
Right.
You know, and Pete and a couple other people said, hey, listen. I was like, you cannot harass people like this online.
Exactly.
Like, you better come clean because idiot's gonna probably be on the news.
Oh, he was on the news already 3 times. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, and
actually he was 4 times if you count that minute news on the internet, and then
Chasing New Jersey he was on. And here's a funny incident that really sets Mr. Kuhn up for a question of all things. Why in the hell would you even agree to an interview on Chasing New Jersey, especially when you're eating lunch, and the guy is basically asking you the toughest questions about Mr. Fitch, and all you can answer is yada, yada, yada. Well, see, that's da-da-da-da-da-da. And you never could get to the bulk of the meat of the question. In fact, the guy even says, you're not answering my questions, Mr. Kuhn. So here again is another example of how pathetically stupid somebody is when it comes to covering for the fat boy.
Yep.
I mean, really, friends, if you know...
Because when it does come to the hard questions, they can't answer them. As a matter of fact,
exactly.
Mr. Charles Fitch has got to purge himself in court. He's purging himself right now with his attorney.
Yeah.
He's saying, here's the facts, here's what I have, this is everything, a bullshit. There's nothing going to be hidden in court on you, buddy.
Right.
You are going to be held responsible for the Fox 2 News shit that you pulled on Rob. And the others, I mean, I don't know. To me, I think there's 2 court cases going on there because there's one with Rob, I believe, that don't make any sense, connected to Fox 2 News in accordance of this court battle. I don't understand that. I mean, there must be. I think there must be something else going on there. I mean, I don't know. I'm just guessing, you know, just because of the stuff I looked up on the court case online. But I'm not putting that stuff out. It's not people's right to look at that stuff.
Yeah. And then of course they'll say, well, Jason stood us up. You know, he could have came forward and I said, you know, why would I want to talk to an individual who, first of all, has been saying shit about me, Mr. Kuhn, okay? You know, I say my message through my videos. If you can't understand what I'm talking about in my videos, then there is no need for me to speak it to you in person because you wouldn't listen then, you're not going to listen now, and what makes you think you're going to listen in the future, you know?
Right. See, here's the difference between me and someone that sits at their computer all day, okay? Everywhere I shop, okay, in my area, people know me.
Right.
Because I was like, oh, hey, how's it going, you know? I was like, I'm doing pretty good. It's like, hey, you sell stuff on eBay. I was like, yeah, I do. She's like, how do you do that? I met a person today, and I personally will sit down and consult with them one-to-one basis, like go to a coffee shop or somewhere, and I'll help them set their eBay account up or Amazon. Okay, I'll show them what is expected for them to list the stuff because you have to read all that material.
Right.
You know, and that is just, you know, make sure that you get the stuff out on time and don't screw anybody over like idiots do.
Mm-hmm.
All right? If someone returns something or it's broke, all right, you have a responsibility to return it. And I saw Fitch's fake accounts, okay,
Mm-hmm.
on eBay, the ones that we knew about,
Right.
with people saying, hey, this guy completely ripped me off. He didn't even send the item.
Right.
Or he didn't return the item, kept money. Now, eBay does have access to his IP addresses.
It's amazing.
Yes, they do. So is eBay connected in any way? Only for the evidence that the people in the community that do business on eBay are keeping it safe from idiots. And we have a job to do that.
Right.
Okay? To conform in a certain manner to keep things safe. The same reason why we have a military, okay?
Mm-hmm.
We pay for them to be there, but, there's a community of people on eBay that voluntarily, do things the right way to keep people from ripping people off. And that is what Joe has shown people as an example of what Charles Finch does.
The reason Joe does these eBay videos every week is to make people more money in their accounts, okay, by telling you what to do as far as where to go in eBay, how to make it more profitable for you. And this is not because eBay is paying him to do this. No, Joe is not getting paid by eBay to speak about these specific things. He is there to inform you of what eBay is doing. And
yes, he's an eBay star,
right,
on YouTube, and someone got jealous of that.
And
now, the people I talked to today who want to do eBay stuff, they're students at school, at college, and need extra money for tuition this year because tuition's going up.
Right.
And they're like, man, I don't know how to come up with extra money. He's like, you sell, he asked me, he's like, you sell on eBay and Amazon. I was like, how does that work? I mean, you do well. I said, I do really well at it. I pay my bills at the end of the month.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm happy with that. Am I a millionaire? No, I'm nowhere close, but I'm happy with the direction I'm going, and I stick with it, and I do help people out. And I said, look, go to this guy's channel on YouTube. His name's Hubcap Joe, or Crazy Driver.
Yep.
And he's got a bunch of YouTube videos.
Over a 7-year period.
Joe's been doing for a long period of time. He's been on YouTube. The ins and outs of eBay, how to keep yourself safe.
And here's the thing I can't understand. This is what I can't understand, Keith. If Mr. Fitch wanted to get Joe off of YouTube, why the hell is this channel not being shut down? Okay?
Well, he had mentioned that YouTube's behind.
He thinks
YouTube's not behind anybody. YouTube don't want you on there.
No, and because of the mass flagging from all of their fake accounts, their fake channels, yet they still deny, oh, well, it was Jason's own fault.
Now,
no, it wasn't my fault.
This is true. Now, because of the mass flagging they tried to do to get his channel shut off illegally, YouTube probably put his channel on some kind of security alert every time it gets flagged, okay, because he's a YouTube star,
right,
with all those followers and views.
Yeah, he's
anybody
got over
that has over a million views.
Yeah,
those accounts are special accounts now.
Right.
And how many accounts has Finch done that's got over 1 million views? 0. He's lucky if he gets maybe 300 or 400.
And the thing of it is that he fudges the numbers. He fudges them. He physically has made a video stating that I am physically going to fudge Jason Decanio's numbers on the old channel. He did that. I had over 600 of his fake subscribers, and as YouTube was, I guess, knocking them off.
He actually, I do remember him saying that, and
he did the same thing to Joe.
From all these fake accounts.
Exactly. But the problem was that YouTube wasn't buying it, and somewhere along the line, I got shut down. But I was right back up.
He probably started flagging a lot of them through those channels.
Exactly.
Because what he does is he runs a hub of websites through his network.
And he even
with
made a special program
with the
too.
VPN firewall.
Yep.
They can create a whole bunch of fake accounts real quick,